on this computer. All right. So then let's get started with, well, actually we have a full agenda because I wanted to close out session number 15, which was on the past sDm.f, and then go into 16, which was for the first present, as promised. And so let's close out the old one first, though. I thought what could help, since there have been a couple of weeks in between, I put a little summary together, everything that we covered about the sDm.f form, the past one. So quick recap on it. First one, it looks just like the prospective sDm.f. So the form of sDm.f that would be may you do looks exactly like the past tense you did. I say looks exactly the same because for most verbs, it just looks like a sDm.f, but some verbs, as you may remember, have special forms. Like, for example, ed, to do, takes like a double read leaf, but it does that both for the prospective and for the past tense, so you can't really tell them apart. And I start to doubt by now whether they really were pronounced differently. I mean, maybe they weren't. In English, we think that put can be a present, a past, a participle, and two other things. It can actually also be an irrealis and a subjunctive. So, and it works. So it may have been only one form. Who knows? Meaning, however, is definitely past or perfect. Really no distinction there. I did or I have done only distinguishable from context. If you have a verb with 4 radicals or more, you put the verb iri in the past instead, and then just put the main verb in the infinitive, and that's what gives you af sotem, he heard in Coptic ultimately. So the af is just a highly contracted past sDm.f. I always want to say sDm.f. No n. A past sDm.f of iri with the infinitive afterwards. So that's how you get your Coptic simple past, so to say. Also, like in Coptic, to negate it, you have a special form spelled out bupui, or maybe just bp, or maybe just imp. I think it's actually the latter because that's what it becomes in Coptic. Bupuif, probably just impef. Impef sotem. Impef sotem, he did not hear. So that's what it is in Coptic, and that's what it already is in late Egyptian. You'll see that form all over the place. The suffix pronoun goes straight on the back of it, and if it's a nominal subject, well, again, you just glue it after the MP. I'm just going to call it MP now because I don't think anybody ever said bupui. That is probably group writing. All right. And then the last point I wanted to cover today before we go into the new session is there is a phenomenon where the sDm.f, the past sDm.f, can appear without a subject. So some call it the passive sDm.f, or you could call it the subjectless sDm.f. I like that version better, actually. It's most common with those 4 verbs listed here. So to do, to give, to bring, and to find, which is used as a help, as an auxiliary verb almost. I found it intact, I found it unopened, etc. So it's very often used to indicate a state that something or somebody is in. And those are often used without a subject. And I wanted to show you a few examples before we close out that session. Before we do that, though, any questions on the sDm.f, the past sDm.f in general? If not, then let's just cover that last point. So the famous subjectless past sDm.f. Neveu has, I think, 2 pages on it. Just the same verb form, but without an explicit subject. And one thing that stands out is for to give, you use the reduplicated form, basically. And I'll just do a few examples here. So gemi uja, it was found intact, or one found it intact. Basically, there is no subject indicated here. Actually, there isn't really an object indicated either. So if you look at that sentence, you go like, what's going on here? It's basically you can mentally substitute a 1, like almost like a 2 ending there. Gemi uja, it was found intact. Or for example, dinaf anach, nib or neb, neb an hujai seneb. Basically, it's abbreviated here. An oath was given to him, or one gave an oath to him. In more idiomatic English, one imposed an oath on him. Ertem jed aja, not to tell any lies. If you don't know what tem sorry. Tem basically is another negation used primarily for infinitives. And so in this case, because this is like some kind of any infinitival construction, you have a jed here in the infinitive, tem jed aja, to not tell any lies. That's why it uses the tem here and not a ben or bu or something. Okay, so the grammar point really being that there is no subject here. The oath is what is imposed. It's imposed on him, but who's imposing the oath is not said. You could mentally basically put like a one or they or something. They imposed an oath on him not to tell any lies. That's how it works. And yeah, I have a few more examples on that. Let's see if they make any sense. I don't know if anybody wants to try them. Like at least let's try the first one. Take volunteers. Actually, I have to think about what it means myself. What does it mean?
I'll try.
Okay, all right.
Yw jyd yn
Should probably write this down,
actually
but you
jydw perhaps.
yeah, what do we make out of the W? I'll transcribe it. Hang on.
You
Here we go. This should work. You heard. Actually, how do we transcribe this? Do we transcribe it like this? I guess, huh? Jed none. And then you said Jed do. Yeah. Okay.
setu
Not quite. This is Sue.
su
Mhm.
ma. I don't know how to say that. Su ma. Oh, is that the donkey? Ah.
And not quite, but you're no, it
Yeah, I
isn't.
can't quite remember what that strange thing is with the three-forked thing.
This year,
What's
right?
that? Yeah,
That's most common. So it's ma. And for example, in the word ma'at, truth.
yeah. Mart.
Yep. And that's
It
it.
is Mart.
That is it. And I hope I got the no, it's the other way around, right? I always get this wrong. It's the
Eyes.
ale first and the ein later. Let's do it this way. Okay.
Um, I. Is it I?
Not quite.
I can't remember what you is.
So U is in Coptic it becomes A. Like this thing. And then if you stuck a third person on it, it would be EU.
Oh, they.
Correct. They.
Um, they said
Hmm.
to us,
Correct.
um, say, okay, yeah, speak. Um, you you speak truth.
Close. Very close. So Sue is it. But one important thing is there is an M before the Ma'at.
Speak of truth.
Yeah, but not an N, but an M. Just like in Coptic, it would be in, basically.
Oh, you speak in truth.
There, now you're almost there. That's right. Let me just quickly.
Oh, so, or is it a command? Speak the truth.
It could be almost. So if you wanted to say speak the truth, what would you do? You would use the oops. I don't have the right keyboard on, but let's just do
Oh,
this here.
he's he speaks the truth.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Guessing technique.
So if you wanted to say speak the truth, you would just say, I guess, Jed, speak, the imperative, right? And I'm not sure how you would say the truth, actually. Would you say Jed ma ma'at? I think that's what you maybe say. Maybe I'd have to look it up. But in any case, it would just be a straight jet. If you wanted to say he speaks the truth, it would be Su He Jet, he is saying. Um, that is exactly what we're going to talk about in chapter 16, the first present. You would use like a subject pronoun and then the preposition upon and the infinitive. Um, so like basically like F Joe in Coptic. Um, but this one here, we're still talking about the subjectless past tense. So that's the topic of section 15. This really is it was said, or one said it in truth, one said it truly. So this thingy here is that subjectless past tense that I was talking about just a moment ago. Um, can you tell formally? I would say no. The only thing you do know is this here has to be an object pronoun. Um, so basically, something say it in truth. And so what could it be? Could it be an imperative? I suppose it could
Isn't there
be.
an imperative form for jed that has the ba in front of it, like in Coptic, like agis?
You are absolutely correct. It can be at least. It can have this little thingy here. Great point. Hang on. It could look like this. Oops. E A2 Jed. It could look like this. Aji. Say. Um, it doesn't have to be there. It could just be Jed, but you're absolutely right. In late Egyptian, I would expect an Aji there. So the other thing is I would not expect a W at the end of it. That doesn't really look like an imperative to me. I can't swear to it being not being an imperative. I don't know the language well enough, but that would give me some pause. So I would take it as an example for what we were just talking about, namely, it was said in truth. Um, and yeah, any other questions on this one?
I have a quick question about the definite articles that show up in late Egyptian and in Coptic.
Go for it.
So with well, first of all, with in Coptic, there's a direct object marker that I'm not sure if it's based off of the M preposition or
Mm-hmm.
not. So for example, if you have something uh, that is like marked as a direct object, you have an M in front of it or an N sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes they'll be doubled. If you have an indirect object, you'll have a double N or M or
Right.
NEM in front of
Mm-hmm.
some things. So is
Right.
that related to the preposition M in late Egyptian, or is it just a different context where that shows up?
It's a really interesting question that I was also wondering about earlier. So it does start to show up in Demotic. It's not really a thing, I would say, in late Egyptian, that object
Okay,
marker. So
right.
like right, like for example, when
Kind
you
of
say
like in Hebrew where you have et marking
yeah,
direct objects. Yeah,
very similar. What you think, what you mentioned is like ek di you give nigh me a book, oh, the book, let's make it this,
right.
app Jom, I guess,
John.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
is it a double O or not? I can never
Yes.
decide it. Thank you. All right. So yeah, and that Emmy here,
In Bohairic, it's just a single O, but yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And I'm not sure if there's like a, is it per Jom? No, app Jom, right? App Jom. This doesn't count as
Epjom it'd be Pidgom in Bohairic, but it
in
depends on the
Bohairic,
dialect. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
So this thingy here in Demotic, it's there, I think. In Late Egyptian, it's not there. You can find it with some verbs, like the verb to seize, I think, uses an M, but it's not a universal thing. Um,
But that might be just understood as a preposition in late Egyptian
correct,
to like seize upon, where some verbs take special prepositions.
correct. So this one here really
Cool.
means in. It doesn't mean you speak the truth or something, as it could
Right.
in Coptic. Great question,
And
actually.
that matches English. The next question is about the definite article not being used here because it's just literally uh, it is spoken or it is spoken in truth. but
Right.
so you don't need a definite article in either English or in Egyptian.
It's interesting, right?
But if you want to say the truth, you could also have like it's feminine, so you'd have like Hamat or something, or so that would work,
Maybe
but not in this context. Or
I-
is that one of the nouns where you don't need a definite article? Because there are
that-
some like that.
I wish I knew. I'm not sure, but I mean, it could be one of those where honestly, we'd have to check. The way you do it
Okay,
is
no worries.
you can do it in Ramesses Online and just see if it ever comes with the article in front of it when you do a compound search. Oh, by
Makes
the way,
sense.
let me share this real quick. This is so cool. I wanted to show you all this, even though it's a bunny ride, but it's worth it. I just learned a new trick yesterday as I was looking for examples for the past tense. You all know, I think, that complex search where you can do things like, for example, add two lemmas. You could put like the article and then the word mat and see if it ever shows up with the article to answer your question, Ben, basically. But another thing I found you can do is you can also just search for parts of speech. So for example, if I wanted to find all examples on Ramesses Online that use the pseudo participle, they call it all perfective here, the stative, I can just do that and hit search. And it will actually give you all sentences that have this verb form in it. So this is fantastic for sentence mining to basically see how a form is used. This is absolutely cool. Now you're limited to 20 pages if you don't log in. If you hit log in and basically create a free account, then you get even more pages. So this is super useful to basically do sentence mining for grammar. Absolutely fascinating. Just want to pass that on. But back to our simple past tense sentences. So great job on the he said to us, they said to us, it was said in truth. The next one, I'll just do it real quick because it's not really all that interesting. So here you could wonder, is that a past tense? Is it an infinitive? It's basically one of those periphrastic constructions where you take to investigate. It has a u at the end, so smetru, them being investigated. But then you slap an ed in front of it, and that could very well be Versace, that is the subjectless passive, sorry, the subjectless past tense. So one did investigate them, basically. Let me write that down. So something like Iri Smetru. One did investigate them. And that again, this here is this past tense that doesn't have a subject. Okay. Similar next one. You can also do this with the negated past tense. So this would be that MP, Messi, Naf, Sa, sorry. Where are you? Transliteration. Sa, ayo, how do you say that? Chai, right? Chai or Jai? I think it's ch.
It is.
It is, right? Okay. So thank you. One did not bear to him a male child. Did I say so? Yeah. A male child, basically. So one did not, a bit more freely, no son was born to him, basically. But what it literally says, one did not bear, one has not born to him a male child. That's really what it is. Okay, so the key lesson here basically is don't be surprised if there is no subject. It can be without a subject, basically, in the past tense. But it's not obligatory. You can also use the to, the indefinite pronoun. So MP2, Gamif, one did not find him. He was not found, basically. Or you can, just like in Coptic, use a third person plural and basically say MPU, Ini said nai, they did not bring it to me. And I'm just now, oh yeah, this is an infinitive. So let me write this out. Bu- You, they did not. Ini, bring, it. Ini said, that is a suffix pronoun. Nigh to me. You may be wondering about the sequence. Doesn't the pronominal dative always come closer to the verb? Well, it does if the verb is a finite verb, but this is an infinitive. And so any kind of suffix pronoun, bring it, has to come right after the infinitive. And then comes the dative, and then comes anything else, like yesterday or that year or whatever you want to put there. Okay. Oops. Excuse me. Any questions on this? Oh, and I see Aaron joined. Hi, Aaron. If not, then I would say let's close out 15 and move on to 16. Here we go. All right, number 16. Finally, the first present. So we've covered this before. It's one of the first things we actually did, because without the first present, you can't do much in late Egyptian at all. It exists in Middle Egyptian, of course, already as a continuous form, like I am saying, I'm going, I'm taking, etc. But in late Egyptian, that construction basically becomes the standard first presence in all possible senses, in the sense of I am doing something right now, or somebody's always doing something, somebody does. It basically loses that aspectual sense of being only like a continuous present, a currently ongoing action. And I see we have a question in the chat. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for the heads up, Aaron. So how does the first present work? It's ultimately an adverbial sentence. So it comes from a construction that is like a standard combination of a subject and an adverbial predicate. Like, for example, parome or paremech im. Paremech im, the man is there. Im is the adverb, imau in Coptic. Eprome imau, the man is there. Still the same thing. Or you could say die here, or di in late Egyptian. Not too many adverbs around, honestly. There's genu, where. That's about it. There are really not that many. Now, in any case, far more common adverbial expressions. So you take a preposition, and then you glue some nouns after the preposition, and the whole thing becomes an adverbial phrase made out of a preposition and a noun. Like, for example, su tamut. He upon the road. In other words, he's upon the road. No is needed. It's an adverbial sentence, so you have an adverbial predicate. In English, we need a verb. It's the same thing as here, it's just a more complex adverbial predicate. And then that, of course, works also if you stick an infinitive after the verb. So, paremech chedesejim, the man is upon hearing, literally the man upon hearing, but it really only means he hears in late Egyptian. It can mean he is hearing, it can mean he always hears. It's basically aspect free. This is not completely true for verbs of motion. Verbs of motion, like, for example, to sail downstream or things like that, physical motion, they can have an M instead of the chr. And when they have an M, I remember Jung is saying, when it has an M, it's always like currently ongoing. So he is sailing downstream. He is going to the city. Otherwise, you can also have the same construction with the chr, and that then doesn't have that present continuous aspect. That is specifically for verbs of motion. I think for all the other regular verbs, basically, this can have either sense, continuous or whatever you want to call it, like a general statement, like a nomic statement, always true. Finally, and this we haven't talked about yet because we only recently covered the stative or old perfective or qualitative, whatever you want to call it. Those are also counted as adverbial sentences in late Egyptian. So instead of having the chr plus infinitive, you can also glue a stative in there. Paiten, Peru, acheti. The sun has risen, because this is now a stative, so it indicates the result, right? The sun or sun disk has risen in the horizon. And basically, this is a stative. And syntactically, it behaves like all the others. In Coptic, then the her falls out, and you have either a subject and an infinitive, or you have a subject and a qualitative. In a lot of ways, they behave very similar. And you can see how that's starting essentially in the 19th, 20th dynasty, when the her becomes less and less common and eventually goes away completely. And you have subject infinitive or subject stative, essentially looking like using two different forms of the same verb in the same construction. All right. Any questions on that? If not, then let me go on a little bit. We're going to get to examples in a moment. Pronouns. This we've covered before too, but I thought a recap is in order. Whenever in a sentence like the ones we just looked at, you want to replace the nominal subject with a pronoun, it has to be that new subject pronoun in late Egyptian. So male would be tree, or probably pronounced t, just like in Coptic, for first person. So I is t, female as well, feminine is t, plural is ten. And so it's made from some kind of element two plus the normal suffix pronouns. You can see the same thing for the second person. Took, this should have been tuch, but the t becomes silent, so it's just two. In Coptic, it's pronounced te. And in the plural, teoten, or it's spelled tuten. Again, it's the second person plural, you all, with that element two in front of it. What happened here is basically it's still te in the feminine form, it's teoten in the plural in Coptic. In the singular masculine you or thou, second person masculine, it gets replaced by ik. That is a demotic development, I think. In late Egyptian, it's regular. You have two plus ek. The third person is a bit irregular. It doesn't have that two element, but instead you continue the old dependent pronoun. So it's su in the masculine, it's set in the feminine, and it's still set in the plural with plural strokes. Honestly, they were probably all pronounced se. Because you can see the su standing for the feminine form. Basically, there's a big switcheroo going on. They're probably all pronounced se at this point, at this stage of the language, for he, she, or they. So basically, se sotem or se satem, they hear or they are hearing or he is hearing. That's how that works. And for the indefinite form, you have a tutu. Very often it's abbreviated like this. There's the first T, and then you spell the first W like this. The second T is spelled like this, and the second W as well. So whenever you see that combination, it's normally tutu. One does something. Tutu hersachim. One is upon hearing. One hears. So that's how you use these pronouns. Nice continuity into Coptic for all but two of them. Just those two here get replaced. All right, and then we have some example sentences. So time to put this into practice. The first one I broke up. So whoever wants to take that one first, if you could tell me what sDm means, and then do the rest of the sentence. Let's see. Any volunteers? Oopsie, what am I doing here? Trying to make this a bit bigger. Any takers?
Well, I can try.
All right.
I can struggle.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Rebecca shows me how to do it. Well, I think it's set or se-im,
Right.
which means it is there.
Yeah, is it or
Ah. Is it or is it he? No,
go?
it's not he.
There's one little hint here.
They, yes.
Correct. So
It's
they are.
plural, yes. Thank you.
No worries. So you're right. They are sDm. They are there. And then
Yes.
what do you make out of? I took that out of a whole sentence to make it a bit easier. And then we have the whole sentence here, which is probably something from Ramesses, I'm guessing, just from the way the
Yeah.
spelling works.
Well, I get something like you ni ruk hemeth jed se-im.
You are spot on. Jet sDm. Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, so it says it looks like a question almost. They're there, but Hemeth, that's referring to the king, isn't it? It's
Chemeth.
it's
Hemeth?
somebody.
Mhm.
Hemeth doesn't know to say that he's in. He's there. Oh, I am.
Close. Let me give you a hint. Jet, literally to say, but
Yeah.
it often just has the meaning like that, like German
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Coptic. So it's just like
yeah,
a connecting noun, connecting. What do you call that? A conjunction.
yeah,
So
yeah. I've seen that. Yes.
ignore the U for a moment. If it were just en rechemef jet sDm.
Yeah. I'm afraid I've ground to a halt.
No worries. What do you make out of rechemef? You just looked at this part.
Well,
I can help with the hara. Sorry, the
come
raha.
on, do please.
That means to choose.
Not necessarily.
I, I, I would. I thought rech was always meant to know.
Correct. And if it is rechemef, what is chemef?
It's it's His Majesty. It's
Correct.
right.
So if it
So
is
His
a
Majesty knows
onu, yeah, okay, or knows, yeah.
you. Yeah, knows.
En rechemef,
He doesn't know
okay. Erjet zetim,
that they are there.
correct. And His Majesty didn't know that they were there. You
Oh,
got it.
well, okay.
That's it. That's all.
What a
So
struggle.
grammar point here essentially was just the little adverbial thing at the end. They are there, embedded in a bigger sentence.
Yeah,
But what's interesting with the jet that's already being used like a conjunction, so you don't have to take them
yeah.
too literally. No, good job. That's really all it means. Cool. How about the next one?
So it's sDf when you pi it im and mat. So he said there is my father there of truth, in truth.
Correct. You got it. By way too fast for me. Hang on. By im
Im
en
mat.
maat. Perfect. You got it. And you said, could you repeat?
Can you scroll a bit to the left so I can see the sentence?
Sorry, yeah, of course.
So he said there is or there will be more. He said my father is here or there.
There.
Yeah.
And maat?
Truthfully?
Truly, yeah, truly. And one important
Truly,
thing.
okay.
When in late Egyptian typically is a past tense converter, like an imperfect. So he was really there. And I see there's some questions in the. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm being distracted. The second person
Sorry.
plural of the first present is slightly different in Bohairic Coptic. It looks closer to the late Egyptian form.
Sort of, the
You're right.
consonants are the same. It's like
Yes.
Teutin and Sahidic and Teutin.
You're right. Tetin Saji. Yeah, you're right.
Bohairic.
Cool. Sorry to interrupt though, Jonathan.
Yeah, sorry.
No. But yeah, so it's basically a past tense. My father was truly there. Great job. Grammar points here, well, two. One was the when. We had that under converters, so I wanted to bring that up again. If you wanted to put in a verbal sentence in the imperfect, you can use the when. And im, of course, is an adverb. And you can stack adverbs just like you can in English. He was there in truth. Same in Egyptian. No problem stringing a few of them together, basically. All right, very good. Next one.
Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
All right, so we have Khair, Dindi, Himesti.
Close. I think you missed
Tu.
one. Mhm.
Oh, well, yes, they're saying tuin. I
Two.
said then, tuin.
Oh, I misheard. Okay, got it. And I think you said D and Hemsti.
Misti,
Mhm.
Mta, Hut.
Hemdahut. Perfect. You know what? I'm not going to put a dot because, hey, the word always has a T. Okay, cool. What do you make out of it?
And let's see, tuin. And we, wait, yeah, and we were there sitting, or we were there sitting in the temple, in the
Yeah,
temple.
I think so. Yeah. Let me have a quick look how Neveu does it, but I would have made it present tense, and we are sitting here in the temple. But let me see how he has it. And of course, I can't find it fast enough. Great.
Sat in the temple, probably something like that.
Yeah, but basically you have it. And I mean, the key grammar point here is you can, again, just like you can string multiple adverbs together, you can also put an adverb and, in this case, a stative
Stative.
in line, and that there's no problem there at all. To sit is very often really used like a helping verb, like an auxiliary. So we were sitting in the temple. It really just indicates like we are there. It doesn't necessarily mean they're sitting on the floor. It just means that that's where they're currently located. I wouldn't take that always too literally with the sitting. And we are here installed in the temple is how Neveu puts it. All right, very good. Awesome. One left to go.
I try.
All right.
So Ben, Nai, Naika. I'm not actually entirely sure there.
Nike, that's correct.
Okay.
Readleaf belongs to the next word.
All right. So E. Im, or is it E? No, probably that is E dot E as in first person. You.
It isn't. It isn't.
No.
This is the word. And really the thing at the end gives away what it is.
Not really familiar with that hieroglyph, to be honest.
Okay, it's Ireo. Your companion, friend, fellow, becomes
I
Ireo
see.
in Coptic. Nek Ireo, your friends or your companions.
So are the two lines after the read leaf, am I just not seeing it right, and then not the former dual lines, but the left out lines, or?
Could be. Let's have a quick look at how this thing is typically spelled.
Yeah, I think it's open mouth and the double stroke, the two diagonal strokes, iri.
Open mouth, and yeah, I think you're right. Let's have a quick look at different spellings. Here we go. You're right.
Yeah.
Did I miss an R? Entirely possible. I tapped those late last night, so entirely possible. It does look a bit funky without an R, doesn't it? No, but Neveu doesn't have one. Unless when they translated it into English, they missed something. But normally, like Chris said, there should be an R in there. And
Is that glyph a determinative or is that a triliteral, the figural glyph?
Okay, I got the sentence, and in my copy at least, it's clearly the two the lines that stand for something left out or a sign you don't want to draw. So it's not the former dual strokes here, it's the wavy line.
So in other words, no, this one's ugly. It's the only one
I know
I
what you
have.
mean. It's just a single wavy line that's diagonal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But there's two of them, so it's very easy to mistake them for a Y.
right. Give me a quick moment. That's not it. Oops. Okay, doesn't work, unfortunately. Imagine two of those lines there. Yeah, just put the
Right.
Y back. But you're right. That's probably what it is. That makes sense. Okay.
Okay, so EDU,
That's right. EDU. EDU. Yeah.
im,
hmm
ergeru.
That is correct.
Oh, ergeru, that's actually the end of it.
Mhm.
So we have a negation.
Mhm.
The companions are plural, so your companions. Im ergeru.
Break after the im, and then put the argero into the picture at the end of it.
So the im belongs to the Nike EDU is what you're saying.
Yeah, do the sentence like that first, like ben naik iriu im.
Your companions are not there,
Okay.
I would have said.
Correct. And they're not there, argero.
Oh, right, I was mixing up ergeru. Well, to the limit, so all of them.
Correct. Teru in Coptic. So yeah, they're not all there. Not in the psychological sense, but probably in the physical sense.
Yeah, of course, but it's of course funny that ends up having a second meaning in English.
Yeah, in English it sounds funny, huh? They're not all quite there. Yeah. Okay, all right. No.
I see.
So yeah, that's what it is. Grammar point, why I took this one, I took your suggestion, ET, and basically just took like about a third of the sentences in the word, and always the ones that have like some interesting grammar point. This one here it's one with the negation, basically. So the negation works the way that you think. You put a bun in front of the sentence, and that's it. And otherwise, nothing changes. The bun later in Coptic comes before the subject, basically. None of those complicated things that we would do in English, like I don't see you or something. No, it's I see you and not I see you. If you want to negate it, you just slap the not in front of it. Kind of logical, actually. All right, well done. Any questions on any of these? If not, I have a few more fun ones. Oops, but I have to make you guys smaller. Okay, this one finally involves a donkey. There has to be a sentence with a donkey in there. I mean, it's a common means of transport, or so what you're going to do. Anybody want to try this one?
I'll try it again. So this is donkey in it.
It has a donkey in it, yes.
Pa iu.
Mm-hmm.
And then that means to give, doesn't it? That last thing.
It would, but
Give
here
to me. But what is it?
close. Yeah. Let me write down what you heard so far. That's it, right? For some reason they put a T there, but that doesn't make sense because it's a male donkey, so it shouldn't have a T. And then you said MD?
Well, it looks like MD, so give.
Yeah, just that MD is a word by itself that is spelled like to give, but it isn't. What does that become in Coptic? I think entai? It's not really, it lives on in Coptic, but only in the combination of to have. The preposition means with, basically. MD is with.
The donkey is with me.
You got it. That's it. As simple as that. Or in my possession or whatever. But yeah, that basically it's as simple as that. The donkey is with me. And the
Right,
tricky
so
part,
all I need to do is learn the word for camel. Like I say, the camel is with me.
the camel is with me.
The
That's-
donkey is with me.
Yeah, there you go.
Not with him, he's with me.
Right. So yeah, the key thing I want to point out is exactly that preposition because it's easy to miss this one. MD looks like it has something to do with give. It doesn't. It's just that preposition that is spelled that way, and it's super common. There is another preposition which we'll have down here, which also means with. That is irma. Irmai is with me. That one becomes the mai in Coptic. This one lives on. The MD only lives on as this. And you'll know that genitive particle ente, the longer genitive particle, that's what that actually is. So yeah.
Can that inte, can that take other suffixes, or is that just inte? Like, can it take, is it the one that means like ntai and tau, that means like of theirs, of mine, of his? Is it that one?
Honestly, I don't know because I'll have to pass on that one. I'm not sure. Because the independent pronoun like anok, entak, etc., that already gets the meaning of his. Like for example, waremich anok, a man of mine. And so now I'm wondering if the forms that you get in Coptic, if they are derived from this or if they're derived from the independent pronoun. Would have to read up on that, what the evolution was. Not sure, completely sure. You might be absolutely onto something there, or it may be the other pathway. Not sure. All right. Well done. Next one. Any takers? That's a fun one. That's why I put it on the right-hand side.
Is it you like what?
You like what? Yeah. And what could that possibly mean?
So, how are you?
Correct. That's what it is. Took me ich. You actually find that in letters. I don't know and I doubt that it was used in greetings like we do in English, but I just thought for the fun of it, let's put it over here. Obviously said to a man in this case because there's a K. What would the feminine form be? Bonus question.
To set? To sue?
I mean, to you. How are you, but said to a
No.
woman.
Toot me.
Oops, no.
Correct. And that ch is now silent, so it's really temi-ish or temi-ash or something like that. Temi-ish. That's right. Very good. All right, well done. The next one is tricky. Anybody want to try that? It's a bit of a beast.
I can try it.
All
You
right,
guys will help with vocab.
sure.
So zetu or
What?
zetut?
Oh, this here is just set.
Oh, set. Okay, set. And I was looking at the plural strokes. Like zetut or zetu.
It's just set.
Does that? Okay.
The plural strokes are just to indicate that it is they. There's no
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Got it. Okay. So set and then empan tai or enpantai
impanti. Yeah, that's right.
anti and then power. Oh, okay. Power and then hes or no hes. So yeah, I think it's either that one. Yeah, I think it's that one, the third H, the unamused H.
You're right.
And then see E01.
Oh, this is still the word. This is this funny Ramesside hieroglyphic, like you find it on temple walls.
Oh, it's a bad bird.
It's a bad word. And they just like to stack things. Actually, in the
Oh.
original, the chassid is under this group. So it's really like multiple stacked on top of each other, but it was so hard to read, I broke it up. But in reality, they're all
Okay.
stacked on top of each other. It looks absolutely crazy.
Oh, like vertically. All right. So Hesi, and then oh, it's the other reading of where. It's not where, it's the new or oh,
Where
sorry, that's the determinative for Hesi is the bad word. Okay,
you
got it.
got it. Mhm.
That's not pronounced. Okay, so N uh forget what that bread basket is. Or footstool, whatever it is. So it's a N Techit or Chet
Just spell it out. See it first.
Chetiachat.
The one on top is a
Ch
correct. Next one,
Ch.
correct. And this one?
And oh, is that I'm forgetting, is that a combination of them and it's just reduplicated or
Normally it's ta, T Aleph.
ta? Oh,
Oh,
okay. Okay, so it's just like the bread loaf with an olive. Okay, that should have been
correct.
easier to remember. Okay.
No worries.
So and Cheta and then
That's correct.
Achatim, or is that just the determinative?
It's just the determinative. It looked like
Okay.
I'm going to write it the way that they had it.
Okay.
Hang on. I hope I have the right.
Talking about the Echet
There you go. This is how
and
it was
horizon.
originally spread. Uh-huh.
Oh. So does it have the same meaning as horizon or as
As what? I'm sorry.
west? As like west or horizon?
Oh, no.
Achet?
Khati is a country to the northwest of Egypt.
Oh,
Far to the northwest, more like Turkey,
Like Turkey.
Syria.
oh, okay. Syria, okay. Did not know
No,
that one.
Hittites. Hittites.
Hittites, okay.
Mhm.
Oh, like the Hatti. Okay, that makes sense.
Hatti. It's
All
Hatti.
right, I was just reading about them the other day. Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, the Hattic guys. Okay, so Hatim, Hatim. Oh, that's cool. So it actually has the Semitic sounding ending there, or group, or no, actually,
Oh,
that's a different word.
it's a different word. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
Im. Okay, cool. All right, so they see set. Okay, so
To make your life easy, I would do
yeah.
this part first, and then because
Okay,
Mhm.
so the great enemy, or let's see,
And
the
Jesse
enemy.
is miserable. Remember that
Okay,
whenever
the
you talk of
miserable enemy.
Mhm.
Oh, in there is a miserable enemy in among the Hittites, or
Almost,
of the
almost.
Hittites.
What is a
Okay,
word? What's a word for you?
I'm thinking that was enemy.
And no, it isn't.
Oh, captive, because the guy's bound.
Neither. Although your mind is going in the right direction, but what does word by itself mean? Forget about all
It
the
means bad,
not really.
or it could also mean great
That's it.
sometimes.
So the grade
Great.
one, and normally when you talk about your own grade ones, like the Egyptian ones, it would have hang on, it would have like some kind of official after it. But of course, since
Right,
now you're talking about the grade one of the enemy,
a foreigner.
you put him with a
Oh,
bound arms and everything, just to indicate that
right.
this is a defeated grade one, but it's still the grade one.
Got it. Still a great one. Okay, got it.
Mhm.
Just because it's a foreigner, the Egyptians would use a different term. Okay. So the great one, um, the great Hittite, or the
Uh,
great sorry, I'm
uh,
having trouble with vocab.
no worries. Hesi is
Yeah.
miserable.
Oh, right. There is a great
Wretched.
misery among the Hittites, or of the Hittites there.
Not quite.
No, okay. All right. Go ahead.
Sorry, but I'll help.
That's okay. No worries. No worries.
Imagine it were just what would it be? What would it be? You know what? Let's do it this way.
Mhm.
That's perfectly fine. If you were to say power im, what would it be?
Um, the greatness there, in that place.
The great one is there. Yes, that's correct. Mhm.
Yeah,
It's just like an adverbial
great one is
sentence.
there. Okay.
Okay. The great power and
Great
Khati.
the great misery of the Hatti, or of the Titans.
If you just had this, where and Khati im, power and Khati im.
Okay. the great one is a Hittite or is of Hittite or is of Hatti.
It's an indirect genitive.
Oh,
Correct. It's an indirect genitive.
okay.
Want to give a guess, Chris?
Yeah, the great one of Hatti.
Correct. The chief
Okay.
of Hatti, basically.
But
So the chief
okay.
of Hatti. Yeah, no, but the great one of Hatti is what it
Okay.
really says. And now make it
Okay.
not any great one of Hatti, but make it the word Chesi in Hatti. Power Chesi in Hatti.
The great one of Hatti is miserable.
Nope.
The great no, I'm having a lot of trouble with this. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Where do you put adjectives in Egyptian? Like if you wanted
After
to
the
say
noun.
correct. So if it were the word well, that doesn't make sense. The great one doesn't make sense. But
The miserable great one of Hatti.
you got it. So the miserable or wretched great one of Hatti is there. You got it.
Is there? Okay.
But of course that wasn't the whole sentence.
Yep.
Let's do this. If
It is
you
in this place. No. Good.
yeah. So enti is which, right? So the paenti paverchesi in chatiim.
Okay, so the place in which, or like meaning the place where the great one of Hatti is miserable.
Almost,
Or-
yeah. The place where the miserable chief of Hatti is. Mhm,
Chief
that's
of
right.
Hatti is. Okay. Yeah.
And
Oof.
now the whole sentence is set empenti paverchesi in chatiim. It's
Right.
quite a beast.
Yeah. So this is the place where the miserable great one of Hatti is. Is that how? Okay.
Can't be. Why? Because that would be what you just said, would be probably something like
You
Penti.
probably need a sue or something. Or
Yeah, or something like more like pa enti pa verchesi en chati im pai or dai or something.
Okay.
Think about it literally. What is said?
Place. Or they.
No, they. If
They,
you
okay.
were if it were just
so they are in the place.
you got
Okay.
it. You got it.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
They are in the place. They are in
Where the
place.
miserable chief of the Hittites is.
Correct. Maybe his, I don't know.
Or wherein, or it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
His donkeys.
It could be his donkeys.
Could be, yeah.
Or his
Sorry,
generals
guys.
or his troops. No worries at all. This one is a beast because of the way how differently Egyptian constructs that from English.
Right.
This is super elegant because Coptic can do that too. You can put pet in front of everything, like this thingy here, where you just take like the et is nt, and then you can always put the definite article in front of it. And then that whole thing becomes a noun. I mean, this can be like going on for a page, but essentially it's all one, it's a thing now. It's
Big
like
relative clause, yeah.
you can make that an element that you can just glue into the sentence somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't know the pet blah 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 blah, and that all just basically gets glued as a new noun. That's how you make like new little packages in Egyptian. It's really kind of fascinating.
That's cool.
All right, guys. I think we have to cut here because we're like already 7 minutes over time. But great job, everybody. And let's continue this in 2 weeks. I hope it was a bit of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all.
Thanks.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye-bye.